So lately, I have been obsessed about personal finance and investing. And a few days ago, I had the incredible chance to sit down and speak to one of my favorite idols in the whole investing and finance community. And he helped me formulate a plan about how to make $1 million. Because that is the end goal, right? Like, who wouldn't want $1 million right now? Wouldn't you want $1 million right now? Yeah, me neither. Now, in all seriousness, of course, we'd all love $1 million. So I recorded that conversation, and I want you to take a listen to the man himself as I sit down and speak with Dave Ramsey.
And you make more than your parents made.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now. It's amazing.
You make more than a lot of your friends make, and you make more than any other country in the world, virtually. Personal income. Especially
coming from Russia.
And you're freaking broke. And so let's just establish here that you can find $100 latte breath. That's
Dave,
no one's fault but yours.
I don't think that's fair. I'm trying my best, and
it's your fault in this country if you retire broke.
I mean,
and you have nothing to show for it.
I have some subscribers on
Nothing.
Thanks, Dave. Hi, my name is Andrei Jikh, and that video with Dave Ramsey may or may not be real. Well, it is real, but it might have been just edited slightly. Now, what does it mean to become a millionaire? Because it means different things for different people. When I say become a millionaire, I don't mean literally have $1 million in the bank. What I mean is looking at your entire net worth. That means your savings, your investments, your cash, your bonds, your real estate, if you own any. And speaking of cash, what does $1 million even look like? What does it feel like? How heavy is it? What does it taste like? Don't worry, I got you, because I went online and I bought myself $1 million, which is pretty ridiculous. I spent $300 to get this shipped to my house. So please press F to pay respects for a video which might completely flop and not get any views. And now that I have this $1 million, I want to see for myself, what does it even look like? Let's visualize it together. If you've never seen what $1 million looks like, finally, let's take a look. Oh, and if the IRS is watching this, then that expense was just something I'm gonna write off because YouTube's my business and I can write it off, right? That is $1 million. This is $100,000. Wow, that's a really heavy bag. It's hard being a millionaire sometimes. I'm just kidding. I did lie though. I have seen $1 million just once before in my lifetime. It's when I shot a cardistry commercial for a very famous music video director who lives in Los Angeles. Him and I eventually became friends, and he took me to a house party in the Hollywood Hills. And when I stepped inside the house, I saw two guys playing a casual game of poker right at home. And on their coffee table, I saw exactly this stack of $1 million. And I thought to myself, this is crazy. I was 23 years old at the time. I will never forget this moment because it had such an impact on me. I thought, you and I spend our entire lifetime chasing this right here, what is right in front of me. And here we have two guys playing a casual game of poker, playing with someone else's entire lifetime. In fact, if you have your bachelor's degree, you will have earned roughly $1.8 million in your entire lifetime, assuming that you worked for 40 years at an average income of $45,000 per year. Now, after paying taxes on that money to a tune of roughly $360,000, you'll be left with roughly $1.5 million. Now, this isn't quite 1.5 million, it's only 1 million, but it's enough to illustrate the point of how little it all is when you look at it visually, and just how meaningless and yet powerful it all is, and how much of an influence it has over our lives and the decisions that we make. It's insane, right? Well, Dave Ramsey's video about how to become a millionaire is one of his most famous and popular ones here on YouTube, with several million views. And I want to summarize it for you because when I was watching it, I didn't like the way it felt because I felt like I was getting yelled at by mom and dad. So here it is. Here's how to become a millionaire. All you have to do is take $100 and invest it every single month into a tax-advantaged account like a Roth IRA or a Traditional IRA, both of which I made videos about before. And if you can do that by investing it into a stock that's giving you a rate of return of 12% on average, which Dave Ramsey says he has found, and if you can do that for 40 years, you will retire as a millionaire if you can invest just $100 every month for 40 straight years at said 12% return rates. Sounds so easy, right? Like, sign me up, Scotty. I'll save you the trouble from commenting like, that's a mythical Pokemon stock. It does not exist. Cannot compute. I see you smiling. I see that smirk. Because that was me when I was watching that too. I thought there's no way, a 12% stock? And you'd be right, because that's a highly debated and contested point in the finance community, whether or not such a stock even exists or will continue to exist. Because keep in mind, the average historical rate of return in the stock market has been about 10% per year, or 6 to 8% per year on average after inflation. That's the real return. And John Bogle, the legendary index fund investor, the guy who created index funds, the guy who created Vanguard, made a compelling argument why the next 10 years of our life will only return 4% per year. And that's a far cry from 12%. So which stock was Dave Ramsey talking about in that video? While it's not specifically confirmed which one it is, I did some digging and I did some research, and what my research found was people who did the actual real research, who are paid professionals and not people like me here on YouTube who do this for fun. And the stock in question is most likely the American Funds Investment Company of America. And since it was created in 1934, it has averaged a rate of return of roughly 12% per year. So a stock like this actually does exist. There's another one, the Pioneer Fund, ticker symbol PIODX. And since its creation in 1928, it has averaged a rate of return of 11.88%. So basically 12%. So Dave Ramsey was absolutely correct. If you can invest $100 every single month for 40 years into said mutual funds, you will retire as a millionaire by the age of 60 if you start at age 20, or retire a millionaire by age 40 if you start at age 0. So as Dave Ramsey would say, stop being lazy and get on the ball, 1-year-olds. And by the way, if you're a Robinhood user like myself, a really good alternative is VOO. If you look that up, you'll see it's Vanguard's exchange traded fund. It's also large cap, and it's very similar to AIVSX, except it has a much smaller expense ratio at only 0.03% in comparison to the huge 0.5%, which is a really big difference. And they even compared them on 1, 3, 5, and 10-year benchmarks, and VOO has beat AIVSX in all of them. Now, I'm not saying you should buy VOO over AIVSX, but I'm just saying it's a good alternative to consider, because remember, none of this is financial advice, because I'm still not a licensed professional. Now here's where my approach to investing differs a lot from Dave Ramsey's. I'm not saying my investing approach is better than his. I'm not saying you should do this. It's just what I picked to do. So instead of working 40 years of my life saving my money and investing it to retire as a millionaire in my 60s, instead I've chosen to walk away from my job a lot earlier. Not as a millionaire, far from it, but as somebody with enough passive income to walk away from creating value for someone else, and as somebody who has barely enough money to pay for his expenses while he sleeps without needing a job, to hopefully take a risk, take a gamble on a business venture like this thing for YouTube, for example. And if that works and I can increase my income by focusing on the bigger picture and the bigger wins, that way I can use the excess income that I earn to invest that into the market and get there a lot quicker. It's definitely more risky, but it frees me up to become a millionaire or generate enough passive income to retire. Because remember, retirement means nothing more than having enough passive income to cover your monthly liabilities, at which point you're retired. You can make enough money while you sleep to cover all of your monthly bills. And that's it. At that point, who cares about being a millionaire? That's just a status symbol that you don't really need anymore. Now, there's lots of different ways of achieving this sort of passive income, and one of the most popular ways is through real estate, which I personally don't do, but two of some of my favorite real estate investors and YouTubers do. Meet Kevin and Graham Stephan, so go check out their channel. But personally, I prefer something called dividend growth investing, which is where I invest in blue chip stocks, which are companies that make so much money that they just pay investors as a thanks for being investors. And I love that feeling because I can get paid doing nothing no matter where I am in the world. I could be on a beach sleeping, I could be doing cardistry and showing off. Does not matter, I'm still collecting checks. In fact, I have about $200,000 invested with Robinhood, paying me roughly $7,000 per year. And between that dividend income, which is growing every single year, between an active side hustle from time to time, maybe once every 3 months, and between a little bit of royalties here and there, I've totaled around $15,000 that I can make every year just by sleeping pretty much and doing nothing, which I know isn't much, but it's enough to have quit my job and try to build this business here on YouTube. And I say business in quotes because I'm totally not a business. I'm just one dude who films all of his videos. I edit all my videos. I answer all the comments, all the research, all the writing for my videos. And if I had any business acumen whatsoever, I would try to hire and get help, but I just don't do that because I'm naive. And also, when I watch other YouTubers hire out, I feel like they're not as relatable because I can tell they didn't put the effort in themselves. They just kind of hired out someone else to do it, and it doesn't feel as personal. Maybe that's just me. And the way that I like to look at it is that $15,000 in passive income, when reinvested into YouTube, in my first year of doing YouTube, I made over $200,000 on YouTube, which is insane compared to my job where I was earning only $50K per year. And the way that I look at that is, well, maybe if I can keep this up for a few years, instead of 40 years to get to $1 million, maybe I can do it in just 1 year, because YouTube income doesn't make any sense because it doesn't scale proportionally. It's like exponential and it's insane. And so maybe I can do it in 1 year. But specifically, here's the strategy how I'm gonna get there. Let me show you where I'm at right now. But also keep in mind, I'm not there yet, and I'm also not starting quite from zero, but I did not have any help from my parents whatsoever, either financially or as far as helping me get a job, not at all, other than helping support and raised me in a caring, loving family, and I love that, and not everybody has access to that, not everybody grew up with that, and I realize that's a big advantage, and I do not take that for granted. And the only way that I got my job where I was able to save money to begin with is because I was obsessed with filming and editing videos, and all the money I made there, I just saved and invested. So that's how we got here today. And also, I feel really white right now, so let me change the white balance on the nano lights to be something of more of a skin color because I look like a vampire. So there we go, I look a little warmer now, right? A little more pleasant, easier to watch, I don't know. Helps me watch myself later and not cringe. Nope. Still really pale, cringe. And here's the part of the video where I'm sure everybody is waiting for, and that is my net worth, which is a weird word because if I have $0, does that mean I'm just worthless? I don't think so, but I do feel weird sharing this. I feel like a schmuck. I don't know, I feel strange sharing this because like I'm showing it off, but I promise that's not the intention. I just want to show you my progress and my plan with my money. And having said that, I would rather stand in the middle of a crowded room, butt naked, than share this information. But we're gonna do it because, well, you haven't seen my bottom half. So let's open up the Mint app and see, as far as cash goes, I have $178,775. And that looks exactly like this. 180 grand right here. And when you say it out loud, that sounds like a lot of money, but when you see it physically in front of you, you're like, oh, that's cute. I could go to the store right now and buy myself a Ferrari and I'm done. Of course, a used Ferrari, but here it is, $180,000. That is a lot of money to have in your checking account. In fact, I should not be keeping this much. I should have it saved and invested in a high yield savings account that is gonna generate me some interest, but I have to pay a lot of money in taxes for this. And I also have a really big video planned somewhere in the middle of this year that's gonna eat up most of the cash that I have. It'll make sense later on, but that's the cash I have right now. As far as my investments go, as far as Robinhood and M1 Finance, I have $210,000 sitting in those accounts. That looks exactly like this. This is 200 grand right here in my hand. $200,000, it's really hard to hold for my small hands, so I'm gonna keep it right here. That is $210,000 right there. And the last brokerage I have is Webull, which is $13,447. And that's the closest I could get to having 13,000, and that is sitting right here. And the last thing I have is my cryptocurrency holdings, which I won't show you unless you wanna know. I'll make a separate video. $30,000 right here in my cryptocurrency holdings, which, fun fact, used to be worth a lot more than this, but I'm a schmuck and I never sold it to get my profit. So now it's only worth this many monies. $30,000. Altogether, all of this money is $430,000, which is a ton of money that I never in my wildest dreams thought I would have by this age. But here it is, and even though it's a lot of money, it is still very far away from $1 million. Now, before you're like, meh, just remember that I have $0 in debt. I don't have a house, I don't have a car, I'm not married, and I don't have kids. Aha! That is why he has so much money, said the boomer. Just kidding, but I promise there will be at least one person in the comment section who mentions exactly that. But remember, I started YouTube in January of 2019, and today I made a goal publicly for myself to become a millionaire by the end of 2021. That means a net worth of $1 million. I'm gonna try to skip the 40-year work and invest that Dave Ramsey recommends and just go straight for gold. And can I do it? Honestly, probably not. But it's gonna be a lot of fun to make fun of me as I try really hard to attempt to get there. And most importantly, I wanted to make this video to remind you that even if you're not doing well in life, business, career, or money, that it doesn't have to be about working for 40 years so you can retire as a millionaire. That there's lots of different ways to find fulfillment and happiness, and maybe it could mean doing what I did. Leaving your job to do what you actually love and maybe making some money with that hobby or with that business and trying to make something of it. Because even if you don't and you earn $0, that's okay, because you will feel like you never worked a day in your life. And that's how I feel about YouTube. Except not really, because it's actually a lot of work, way more work than what people think it is. It's insane, and I don't wish it upon my worst enemies, except if they really enjoyed it. If you want to get serious about personal finance, about money and investing it, then download Robinhood, get your free stock, download Webull, fund your account at least $100, get 2 free stocks, one of which can be worth up to $1,400, and between February and March, if you deposit $2,000, you'll get up to 5 free stocks, each of which can be worth up to $1,000, which is awesome. Love you all, thank you so much, enjoy your weekend. I will see you all on Monday and Friday. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Also, having 1 million subscribers counts as a millionaire. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.